not good in there. There's gonna be a body.
I always think that too. Like when we would come across like abandoned cars when we were doing archaeology, I was always sure that we were gonna find a body in it somewhere.
Blue Heron is located in Tillamook, Oregon. We loved parking in their spacious parking lot that is shared with old farm vehicles. And they have many wines to taste inside and other delicious goodies to purchase at the store. Outside, there's tons of farm animals too. The next leg of our journey started with a slightly scary trip over a 2-lane bridge leaving Astoria, Oregon on Highway 101. At the end, we turned right onto Highway 401 North on our way to Thunderbird RV Resort in Monroe, Washington. It was a little windy and a little twisty, but RV friendly and super beautiful.
Hey, get your Roadster Adventures gear. I'm not pointing at her boobs. I'm pointing at her shirt and this mask. It's on the website. Well, we just stayed at our third Thousand Trails campground, and it's pretty nice. It's a little weird because it's,
as you can probably hear,
right next to a road.
Right next to a road.
And I mean, the road is, so, okay, let's do a little, we're in Monroe, Washington. And in fact, this address might even be Sultan, Washington. I'm not actually sure. But the interesting thing is I grew up here. I grew up in Monroe. My parents grew up in Monroe. My grandmother's the reason why we're here. She lives literally 5 miles down the road on this river, just, you know, just off it a little bit. And that's why we came up here. And this campground was convenient because we can't park at our house. It's just not enough space there. It doesn't work out. So I'm familiar with this area, and the road that this is on is called the Ben Howard Road. And the downside is, if you're on the south side of the park here, which is where most of the park is, we're on the north side right now by the river, but if you're on the south side, you have to cross this road, which again is not that bad, but if you have kids, it might be a thing.
So the way we do this is we have 7 different categories. We rate them from 1 to 5. Yeah, then they'll get a total at the end, and we're rating all of the parks that we stay at in that system so that we can get an idea of what our favorites are and where we maybe don't want to go back to again. So the first thing is the grounds and the amenities. And by that we mean how nice it is, how well maintained it is, what there is to do on the grounds. And we did go ahead and give that a 5.
Yeah.
Because it's really beautiful here. And as you can see behind us, we've got the river right there too. So
yeah, it's really pretty. And as with all things in the COVID-19 era, most of the amenities are closed, but that shouldn't really hold it against them because they've got a really beautiful swimming pool area. I think there's even a hot tub there.
There is. There's 2 pools, a hot tub, and one of the pools, which is appealing to us, is the quiet pool, which I would assume means no kids.
Yeah.
So,
because it's by no means going to be quiet because the kids' pool's 10 feet away. But
it is, but
kids are likely not
splashing.
allowed in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the playground area is really beautiful, clearly well maintained. There's a little mini golf area, also nice.
It could be a little better maintained, but it's Washington State. Things grow up fast.
Yeah, so a lot of green here.
Yeah, they've got a big barn area. I think they call it the Red Barn or something like that, and that's like a meeting place, and they presumably do other stuff there. But again, it's closed. And then there's another building on this area here that says quiet area and quiet room and a Wi-Fi, because they've got Wi-Fi.
At two of the lodges.
Right. I think that's probably just free Wi-Fi if I had to guess. Yeah, because you pay for, we'll talk about Wi-Fi later, but again, all that stuff is closed because it's COVID-19.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But it would be really nice if it were all open for sure. Oh, and the laundry facility, we had to use it here, is really nice, really clean. And there was 6 machines, which made it really easy to get all my laundry done in one go. So that was nice.
Yeah.
Okay, the next category is the site itself that we're in. The hookups, the levelness, all of that. We gave it a 3, and I will let Chris explain that because he's the one who picked that rating out.
I gave it a 3 for 2 reasons. The first one is, first off, the sewer is easy to get to, the power is easy to get to. It doesn't have what we call full hookups, which means it doesn't have cable. We hardly ever use the cable anyway, but it still doesn't have it.
I don't think Thousand Trails campgrounds have cable.
Well, and maybe we'll find that out, and I won't start dinging them for it. When I was hooking up our power, I noticed it was 30 amp, and the guy next to us, he said, "Oh, my RV is 30 amp, but I've got a 50 amp cable over here," and he's like, "I don't even need it," and I was like, "Wow, I've got 50 and I don't even need 30." The thing is, we were never told which ones were 50 and 30. It's not labeled on the boxes. I mean, obviously you look at it, you can tell, but it's not labeled. It's not on the map. And I just wish that Thousand Trails campgrounds would put that stuff on the map, because for some people it really is important.
It is. And the thing that is a little frustrating about Thousand Trails is that it is first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Which I get that it makes things a little bit more fair, but also it makes it a little less fair to people like us, because we were probably one of the last ones in when we got here last week, and there were 2 spots left with full hookups. We had 2 choices, and we didn't even think to check the power and make sure that they were 50 amp. We didn't even think that 50 amp was a possibility, because they just told us at the entrance that it was 30 everywhere, but then come to find out one spot up from us is 50. And then also that they let somebody park there who didn't need 50. Like, why? I don't understand why they don't let, like, if you don't have 50 amp, why they don't encourage you to park in places that don't have 50 amp as well, and save the 50 amp spots for rigs that need them. But because we popped a breaker for sure at one point, because we didn't have 50. So
the other reason I gave it a 3 is because all those spots that we're at on the other side here, we're on the again, we're by the riverside, but on the non-river side, on the other side of the road, the south side, it's a slight incline. Not really slight, it's a relatively significant hill. And because of that, we don't have much space. Like we parked the RV real close to the power connection on the driver's side. And on the curb side, we've got maybe 5 feet or so before it drops off into the next campsite. And then there's a picnic table and a fire ring, and they're behind in this grassy area in between, which is a really nice feature to have. But the picnic table is like almost unusable. It's not level. You can't put it in a level spot. The fire ring is just kind of sitting there, and it's not very well placed.
Also, it's Washington, and the grass is always wet. So, like, I don't want to be traipsing through wet grass to get to a picnic table.
I'm not sure what the solution is for all that. Maybe platforms to put the picnic tables on, but either way, it's not very easy to use.
Okay, so wildlife and scenery, we gave that a 4, really for 2 main reasons. There is a very busy road, as Chris already mentioned, the Ben Howard Road, that you have to cross in order to get to the river. So the only sites with full hookups, and that means including sewer, are on the other side of this big road. So you have to cross that road in order to get to the river, which is the really pretty part of being in this area. So that was one ding. Well, a pretty major ding. The rest of it, though, has been really pretty. The trees are really nice. We saw a couple bald eagles flying around over the river when we walked down. So yeah, it's really pretty otherwise. Yeah,
my parents used to live right down the river here, and we remember them talking about bald eagles all the time. I think they're kind of resident bald eagles that live here. It's a pair, and so it's probably could be them. Who knows? Or there's more up the river. So that was really cool. You don't see bald eagles everywhere. You kind of do in Washington, but not everywhere when you're traveling.
Yeah.
But there's really no other wildlife that we've seen.
No,
crows,
not really.
Maybe. There's no noisy squirrels. That's nice, but yeah. Otherwise, not really much in the way of that.
Local activities. We gave that a 5 because we're actually really well situated here. We're halfway between Monroe and Sultan, and Monroe is like a medium-sized town, so you can get anything you need there. And then Sultan is pretty small, but it's a really great jumping off point to on Highway 2 up into the Cascade Mountains. So if you want to head up there and do some hiking, there was one hike we were gonna do, but we ended up not having time for it. But there's a bunch of hiking and outdoor activities around here. A lot of horse riding too, it seems like. I think if you wanted to ride horses here, you could probably figure out a way to make that happen. So connectivity, we gave that a 4. It's pretty good. There is I think Java.
Yeah,
right?
it's the same thing we had at Russian River.
Yeah.
Which is nice because I paid for the monthly high-speed connection, and I didn't shut it off, which is good because that was just last month, and now we're using it again this month. And the other cool thing is, like, I had the Apple TV that we have hooked to our TV. Obviously, it takes a login window for Java, and with something like Apple TV, you can't log in with a login window. So I called them and had the MAC address for the Apple TV, and you have to do this if you have like a smart TV or something like that. The MAC address was added to my account. I get 5 devices or 4 devices, I think. 4 devices. And when I logged in here, I just turned it on, logged in, I clicked on Thunderbird Wi-Fi and didn't have to log in at all on any of my devices. It just picked it up because it was Java internet. So on my desktop computer, my laptop, my phone, and the Apple TV, it just worked. Now, the funny thing is we have a really good signal strength, but even on that high-speed one where there's statistically fewer people probably paying for that, it still had its issues.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we're able to stream in the evening sometimes, but it really had its issues occasionally. And like this morning, I was trying to watch the news on the NBC News app on Apple TV. I couldn't get through a single story that's 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just garbage and sometimes it's great.
It's just a very full campground. So when everybody is on the same Wi-Fi, it just slows it down. So now, cell service wise, I think I had enough cell service with my AT&T plan to just like pull in emails and maybe open a web page or two. So nothing significant, but enough to keep you connected if that's what you need. So
yeah,
it's not terrible.
I checked the Verizon MiFi jetpack when we got here too to see if that was going to be useful, and it had like 2 bars of LTE. But I have noticed that jetpack is useless at even 2 bars of LTE. It just won't do anything. I'm not really sure why. Maybe we got a defective device, and I've even got the MIMO antenna extender, you know, to hook up in the window, and it still just didn't give us anything extra. So yeah, cell service is not super great. I just had a call. My grandma just called, asked when we were coming by, and that worked okay, and it was not on the Wi-Fi. So, but I wouldn't trust it for consistent, persistent, high-speed data use. Yeah. Not on AT&T or Verizon.
Yeah. Price-wise, of course, we're going to give this one a 5 because we didn't pay anything.
Yeah, I don't even know what it costs.
Yeah, so. No, don't know. We probably should stop rating price on Thousand Trails since we don't pay for them.
Automatic 5. Yeah.
Availability. So I'm going to give this one a 3. And I think that's probably a good rating, even though it sounds bad. It's because this place is clearly insanely popular. Yeah. It is packed. Every campsite, it looks like, is full here today. It's a Saturday, right? Yeah, it's a Saturday. And end of July. And I feel like the only reason we got our reservation is because we snuck into somebody's cancellation. I just was checking it every day when we decided we didn't want to try boondocking at his grandma's house, that it was just going to be too complicated to do that for family and personal reasons. When I started checking the availability here, I just checked it every day. Every day I kept checking, and it was not available. Like this random week became available. So we totally slipped into somebody's cancellation. It's the only reason we got in here, but it's clearly a very, very popular park. So if you want to come here, get your 60 days out or however far out you can, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get a spot. Yeah. Yeah, so, I think the fact that it's summertime. Yeah. You know, who knows what the availability is off season, because it does rain a lot here. So off season, when you're out of summer and it's probably in the rainy period. Weird thing is, this is Washington State. I grew up here. I expected to see rain, and it was cloudy a couple days this week, and it did rain Friday. But otherwise, it's been really nice. It's been, the weather has been very warm, like unseasonably warm. So what's the overall rating? 29 out of 35. So really not bad. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we enjoyed our stay here. Definitely will be coming back, especially with the proximity to Chris's family. So that makes it nice. Yeah, but it's nice. And, you know, if you're going to try to stay here, though, just get your reservations in as early as you can. That would be the one major takeaway I would get from coming here. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so yeah, check out Thunderbird RV Park and Resort. Probably they have resort to everything. Yeah, they do. It's got a pool, therefore a resort. There you go. And here we'll end with a crane shot of the river. Crane? Is your arm a crane? My arm's a crane. I really wanted to go in this river, but I touched the water with my feet, and it was ice water. It's July and it was ice water. So again, if you want to swim, bring your wetsuit. How's it been experiencing your old stomping grounds? I don't know. It's so different, obviously, because every time you come back to a small town, and this was truly a small town when I left, it's so much bigger now. It's basically a bedroom community for Seattle, Bellevue, that area. So it's more traffic than the town can really handle. More businesses than I think the town really needs, but, you know, this is some familiar stuff. We went a little drive the other day, and yeah. Well, here we go.